Tim Pancakes.
Hello everybody, Tim Pancakes here, and I'm kind of trying to speak quietly because it is 12:30 in the morning on Monday morning, and this video is going live in a couple hours. So my sister and brother-in-law and niece are sleeping, and I'm trying to be mindful of that, so I hope that they can't hear me. Either way, I'm going to do this in one take, and it will be what it is. So this build is a speed build for a family home. It's base game. Obviously, it's in Oasis Springs, and I worked on it as part of a collab. So I am doing a base game save file project. I was invited by another content creator named Cassandra, and she basically got 30 to 40 of her best friends together and assigned us all lots for Oasis Springs, Newcrest, and Windenburg, and then set us loose to create. So I received this lot, which I believe is called Dusty something. It's up there in the corner. I will insert a photo to show you where this lot is on the map, but I was assigned this lot with the vibe of being Mediterranean Spanish, kind of like how Oasis Springs is in several of their lots already. So that was easy in that there were plenty of examples, but challenging in that I have never built in this aesthetic. I honestly didn't particularly like this aesthetic, but after working on this house, I think what I realized is what I didn't like were the homes that came with the base game. They're just too big, too grand. Those aren't really the types of families that I play. I play real families, and so to work on this small family home, it's 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and I was really proud of the final product. I thought that the floor plan came together nicely, and I had a lot of fun just kind of cluttering up the different rooms. So you'll see more of those as we go on. This is obviously the kitchen. It's a pretty good size. I do end up putting in a dining table and chairs as well. So there's not a formal dining room, although you could rearrange the living room and kind of put a dining table in that back half. So it's versatile. I remember that when I was working on the kitchen, I took forever trying to find counters and cabinets that didn't clash, because I kind of feel like this house, maybe some of the fixtures are older and more traditional and kind of, I think, closer to that style I was going for, but that maybe a younger family recently moved in, so a lot of the furniture pieces are maybe a little bit younger, a little bit newer, a little bit mixed matched, but that, you know, they haven't like renovated. It's not a brand new house or anything. It's a young family. It's a kind of a new family. I kind of imagine it being like 2 young parents and then 2 little boys. So they may continue to grow, but you know, they didn't have a lot of money, and so they got what they could afford, moved into this house, and maybe over time they'll try to update some things. So I tried to play with that a little bit while I was decorating. One of my decorating go-tos is, as I'm scouring the catalog, if I find an item that might fit better in another room, I just go and dump it in that room, and then I figure I'll get to it later. So a moment ago I did put a rug in one of the bedrooms, because I figured, well, not for the living room, but maybe here in the blue room. So, and then I picked that TV stand. It's pretty modern, pretty new. I figured, you know, I'm just gonna do it. I didn't even really try any other TV stands. I just went with that one, but I went with brown, so it'd be kind of a neutral. And yeah, you can see like some of the light fixtures are just a little bit, you know, maybe older. So this family, I've actually already moved a family in and started playing. in my offline gameplay. So the De La Cueva family lives here. The parents are Jose and I believe it's pronounced Salome. She was actually a NPC sim that came to work at one of my businesses, and then I thought she was beautiful. So Jose started dating her and then married her, and she moved in, and they had a couple of kids. So they have a son, Jay, which is short for Jorge, and then a toddler named Onwell. And so the four of them are living in this house in my offline gameplay. And they might get pregnant again, and maybe it'll be kind of fun to play with having a baby bassinet too in the mix, because the house is pretty full. Yeah, I think I'd like to play with the family to continue growing and see how I can make that work. But that's who I'm playing with it, and I think that's what I love. This is probably one of my favorite builds, actually, because I don't know, I could immediately start playing in it, and it was very livable, and as I was decorating, I could just kind of envision the family. I didn't imagine it being the De La Cuevas when I was building it, but once it was built and I kind of looked at the different families I had in my bin, I was like, let's move them in. So it worked out nicely. I also used some items I've never used before, like the Baby Yoda there, and that ship that I sized down and put on the shelf, and that activity table. I kind of thought, there's some space here in the back of the room, and let's just put the activity table there. I've never really used the card table before in a build, so I put it there, and then for the chairs, which I'm picking now, I ended up doing two kind of folding chairs that match the ones on the patio out back. I figured maybe they have chairs that are for the picnic table outside, and they bring them indoors when they're playing cards, and they kind of move back and forth depending on where they need them. So I like to kind of do things like that while I'm building too. In a moment, yep, there it is, the gallery wall. So I had paused the recording to step away for a few minutes, and then I came back, sat down, and started working on that gallery wall, and as soon as it was finished, I realized I wasn't recording, so I did miss that, but I sized things down and kind of moved them around and tweaked them a little bit to make a really beautiful gallery wall, I think. So I really liked that piece a lot. And with the family living there now, I'm going to either add or replace items with some family pictures as well, just to kind of build it up further. So like I mentioned, it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. I think I'm doing the bathroom next, so I end up putting a tub down, and then I move it just because I feel like there's too much space. So you'll see me do that in a second. The bathroom definitely took a little bit of trial and error. I didn't really have a blueprint in mind. I just kind of put things down and played with them. And those towels, for example, I liked the color of different towels, but every swatch had like a different colored bar, and I really wanted the bars to match, so I went with 2 gray bars and just kind of dealt with the towels that came with it rather than having my preference, which would have been probably more jewel tones. But they had like a gold bar and a brown bar, so they just wouldn't have matched. It would have clashed more, and I didn't really like that. So this is a tub I usually use, but I always use the same swatch. So here I decided to do a yellow one. I thought it was kind of bright. I thought maybe, this young family moved in, and while they can't freshen up everything at once, they'll try to add color where they can. And so a nice bright bath shower curtain will do the trick. And then I move the window there. I think I add a second one first, and then I think, well, that's too many windows. So I just deal with it being off center outside, and it's fine. So I kind of move some stuff around. I play with the counters a bit too, and ever since Karen taught me how to use the different counters and the edges and things, I've had a great time, and I definitely played with those in the kitchen as well. Also, I put a mirror up, but I change it eventually to like the full length mirror, because I really just love the idea of like a builder grade wall mirror. To me, that just helps with dating properties and making it seem maybe older, or, I don't want to say lower class, but just more the average family, I guess. And that mirror just seemed a little bit too fancy or too nice for this family, because I'm also like cluttering up the counter. It's a 1-bathroom house, and they've got kids, so they've got that nice big mat. And then I did put a couple of toys on the bathroom floor to be like bath toys, because if it's anything like the bathroom at our house, it's a little bit cluttered with all sorts of random things. I also put like the ball of clay on the counter, so why not? Of course, it ended up on the bathroom counter. And then, of course, when I found some of those accessories, I went and sprinkled some more throughout the house as I saw them and felt inspired. So I kind of do that. Like I said, I'll see something and be like, oh, well, not in this room, but let me go put it in another one. I had a great time just mixing like old with new, traditional with modern, and I mean, I think it worked. Like I said, I've been playing in this house. I really love it. I think it's been great. It is base game, like I mentioned, which was a bit of a challenge. There were things that I wanted to do that I couldn't. Like I wanted a pile of clothes on the floor and stuff like that, but it kind of just made me think outside the box in some ways, and again, explore different swatches that I hadn't seen before because I was limited to just the base game. For the save file that we're working on, they're all going to be base game builds. And this is the parents' room. So that closet, actually, my intention as I was building was to put one of the closets in that space and have it be like the master bedroom that had a closet. But I realized the closets aren't base game. And then when I was furnishing, completely forgot that was my intention. So after I finished decorating this bedroom, I realized, oh, I have a blank space here. What should I do? So I just added a door and made a hall closet in this, as opposed to doing a master closet, and that actually kind of worked out better. I threw a few things in there, and I liked it, and it's just extra space because people that download this, maybe they want to make a laundry room, or maybe they want to add a closet, like a real closet. So if you have other packs and download this, you can definitely update it to your liking. The first two things I did when I started playing in this house is I added the season's decorations bins into that closet that I'm working on right now, and I also added the thermostat. So those are the two things I put in every one of my builds, basically. So this will be the kids' room. I decorated for two little boys, a toddler and a child. Like I said, I will probably get the family pregnant again, and so maybe I'll try to fit a third bed in here, or who knows, maybe we'll get bunk beds soon. You can cross your fingers. I don't know. They know we want them, that's all I can say, so we will see what comes our way, I guess. But yeah, I just kind of threw a whole bunch of clutter in there, but still functional. I did my trick where I always reduce that size of the nightlight and put it in there. I try to put those activity tables in when I can, just to give kids something to do. I realized that the curtains, I think, that I put in the kitchen were those orange ones, which when you zoom in are like dinosaur. And I didn't really realize that. I thought they were just kind of like gaudy, dated, frumpy curtains. Like the burnt orange ones and the green ones that I have in the parents' room. But then I realized they were all actually patterns, and so I had to find a different one to put in the in the kitchen, because I didn't really think they'd have dinosaur curtains in the kitchen. So I did end up having to change those out at some point. I don't remember if that's in the footage or not. I just thought of that because I noticed the curtains in the parents' room. But yeah, it's just a cluttered room. I layered different rugs there. I added a teddy bear to the toddler bed, and everything's functional. I was actually nervous because when I uploaded the screenshots, when I took screenshots and then uploaded this to the gallery, it is already on the gallery under my hashtag TimPancakes. My user ID is Toyd05. That information will be down below. But when I uploaded it, I realized I hadn't play tested it, so I was kind of nervous. I'm like, oh gosh, I hope it works. And everything works, so that worked out. Yeah, those are the orange ones. I'm changing them out, but I cut that footage, I guess. And so now I'm just working on some landscaping. I cut out a lot of landscaping too. I think I kept a little bit of it, but it's something I'm working on, so it took me a minute to end up with something that I like. And really, once I started playing, I also made some additional tweaks. So what I end up uploading to the gallery isn't exactly the version that I'm playing in. I added another bush or something like that, but for the most part, I didn't make too many changes, and I kept it simple. There's not a whole lot going on outside. I felt like the house was so busy. I didn't really want to do too much outside. I also didn't want to take away from the aesthetic, and I kind of thought, you know, less is more. But yeah, I spent a lot of time on the landscaping. So I'm probably getting ready to cut to the screenshots. I know that there are other content creators that participated in this save file, so as I have that information, I will include that in the description down below. And there is also a playlist, so I will add this video to that playlist, and if you'd like to look at some of the other builds from other content creators, you can feel welcome to do that. So thank you so much for watching, and that's a stack.